first, I just wanted to say thank you guys for being here. I realize, not a lot of people stick around for Sundays, so I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. I'm actually humbled by the amount of people who are here in the room, and it's greatly appreciated. So the title of my talk is Becoming Mallory, How to Win Creds and Influence Devices. Mallory being an homage to Mallory Proxy, the whole Alice Bob, becoming Mallory, getting in the middle. So this is really a talk about man in the middle and why it's still relevant, why it's still important, why you should do it on your pen test. I'll explain it shouldn't be the first thing you do, but it's definitely a lesson learned for the people that you're testing. And I'm going to go through some demos of the new version of Easy Creds that I'm working on. And if the demo gods are smiling, they'll go okay. So yes, I'm going to read this entire disclaimer to you. The reason it's up there is I'm going to buy whoever can tell me where this came from and who said it. I will buy them a Hackers for Charity shirt. So we did $11,000 I think last year at DerbyCon for Hackers for Charity. So I'm hoping we could beat it this time. So the disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the disclaimer. That's right, the disclaimer. This American apple pie institution known as corporate discretion will cleanse any sense of innuendo or sarcasm from the presentation that might actually make you think and will also insult your intelligence at the same time. So protect your family. This presentation contains explicit depictions of things which are real. These real things are commonly known as life. So if it sounds sarcastic, don't take it seriously. If it sounds dangerous, do not try this at home at all. And if it offends you, of course, please just don't listen to it. So if you can tell me who said that, where it's from, I'll give you a hint. Do you know? And who said it? Okay, if you figure that out, let me know. So who am I? My name's Eric Milam, security assessor with AccuBunt Labs. I've been there for a couple of years. On Twitter, I'm known as Bravo Hacks, IRC, Johnny Bravo. And that is, of course, the Greg Brady Johnny Bravo. For those of you guys who are old enough to remember that episode, I definitely don't look like the cartoon character. I'm one of the project stewards for the EtherCap project, along with another guy named Emilio Escobar, who does really most of the development. And there's other people who have helped out as well. Developer of the Easy Creds and SMB exec scripts. And you can reach me at jbrob.hacks@gmail.com. Honestly, send me an email, whatever, question, or say hey. I'll get back to you. It might not be immediate because I'm usually sleeping on a pen test while Pure Hate does all the work. So as soon as I wake up, I'll definitely hit you guys back. So what's this talk all about? So one of the things I've always preached, especially being an EtherCap guy, right, is overview of man in the middle, what it really means. I'm going to try to keep it as bland, unfortunately, that first part as possible, but to just kind of get you guys thinking about what's man in the middle. And then I'm going to go through wireless man in the middle, of course, the most common man in the middle, which is ARP poisoning. When everybody thinks man in the middle, they think ARP poisoning. And then there's actually other useful man in the middle attacks. And my goal is actually to provide you with enough information that you can go out on a pen test or, God forbid, Starbucks and execute an attack with as little disruption as possible. Of course, like a rock star ninja who knows jujitsu. So the 90s called and they want their man in the middle back, right? Man in the middle, and specifically ARP poisoning, is not dead. There are defenses against it. They're very rarely put in place. And it's a good way to go out and get credentials. As most of us know, once we get a single credential, be it a service account or whatever, if it's a domain user, that's usually when the dominoes start to fall. So it's definitely something that's there. It's not cheating. I've done plenty of pen tests with people where they fire up Kane and they expect all these credentials just to start flying by and they're going to own the network. It's more like phishing, with an F, of course. You're kind of casting something out there, you're targeting some things, and you're hoping that you catch something or you get some information that's going to help you further your attack or further your cause. And like I was saying, man-in-the-middle attacks are still relevant and important because most companies, if you go in and say to the security guys, hey, have you ever heard of man-in-the-middle attack, or have you ever heard of EtherCap or Kane? They'd say, yeah, I've heard about it, but I don't really know. So if the guys who are defending the network don't really know what constitutes the attack, what to look for, they're not going to know how to defend it, and they're not going to put defenses in place that'll defend it. So my overview of man-in-the-middle attack. So this is what I define a man-in-the-middle attack as. I was going to steal from Wikipedia, but I figured I should probably write my own. So basically, you're placing yourself within a line of communication between two other systems or individuals, such that you can interpret and possibly manipulate the content or conversation. So, and what I'm talking about is not just computer systems, right? You can think about wiretapping. You can think about all kinds of other things. You're basically just trying to get within that stream of communication. So why would you or someone else want to perform this attack? Well, knowledge is power, right? Information can be priceless, like we were saying. With one set of credentials or a certain amount of information, it can just begin to domino, and you can continue to build your attack and your surface. So, if I talk too fast, please let me know. So what constitutes a man-in-the-middle attack? Basically, you have a victim, someone who's actively communicating, right? You have an attacker, someone who's interested in intercepting that communication, whatever it is. And a switch, if it's a computer system, wireless network, phone line, the person next to you, just it could be really anything. I know that the FBI has offices at AT&T buildings. Well, they're basically performing man-in-the-middle on the communications that are happening across those lines, and so it's not just really with computer systems, but it can be with anything. So, of course, as you guys know, there's certain attacks that can occur during a man-in-the-middle session. The most common, at least for us, interception of important information or data. Again, I'm going to harp on passwords, right, because that's usually what we're going after. But we can get all other types of information out of it. If you guys saw Ryan Lynn and Mike Ryan's talk, it was freaking badass what they were doing with the communication manipulation and modification. And in fact, if you guys didn't see it, I wouldn't be offended if you guys pull it up right now and watch it while I'm doing my talk. So it was that cool. And then of course the old denial of service, right? If you just want to go screw with somebody, and I don't know how many times I was Skyping with my wife and kids this weekend, and all of a sudden my wireless went down for my Wi-Fi, and had to check and make sure I was actually still on my network. So this is EtherCap circa 1940. You guys probably can't see it way in the back, but it's an Enigma machine. Does anybody know what an Enigma machine is? All right. Marty, what's an Enigma machine?
It was used by to crack codes in World War II.
There you go. So basically, we at some point ended up stealing these Enigma machines, and then we were able to crack their code. So it's basically a man-in-the-middle tool. It doesn't quite have a QWERTY keyboard. It's got a QWERTZ keyboard, and I know you can't see it, it's Z on the end. But it has these rollers in here. And basically the first part of the communication was what roller and where to set them. And then you would type out on these keys here the actual code from the communication, and it would come out in plain text. So basically that's what we do with packets, right? So tools that can help facilitate man-in-the-middle attacks for computer networks. So this is specifically what we do, right? And I know there's a bunch, but I listed, of course, and I'm going to be very biased, and it's going to be very obvious that I'm biased as far as toolset goes. But EtherCap, ArtSpoof, Kane, I'm sure there's tons of others. People write scripts all the time just to automate it and make it easier. One of the many reasons I wrote EasyCreds was that I didn't want to remember switches or commands, so it made it a whole lot easier to execute. So wireless man-in-the-middle, and I'm doing the wireless first because whenever you look on YouTube, it's always about fake APs and setting those up and attacking cell phones and things like that. Their wireless connections. So there's obviously a bunch of different things you can do. You've got a static fake AP where basically you're setting the BSSID, you're setting the channel, and you're going after something specific. A dynamic fake AP. What I call an evil twin, I think the industry calls an evil twin as well, where it basically just responds, like how many people have pineapples? Yeah, so basically, right, it just basically responds and says, yeah, that's me, and lets them connect to you and your network. Chromatic split attack, it's not necessarily man-in-the-middle per se, but it helps facilitate the attacks after you have that connection. And then MDK3 is another tool of choice for me. To DOS people off their network, hopefully hastening them connecting to your network. So the tools that you need to establish a fake AP with man-in-the-middle, it's really pretty simple, right? You're looking at a wireless card or two. Airbase NG or host APD, DHCP server, and Ettercap, ARP spoof, or Kane, anything that can get those creds out for you. And then of course, why not use a script that does all the hard work for you? Easy creds, there's a bunch out there. I know there's a guy called Coma X who wrote a script called Yamas, which is actually pretty good. So if you do a search on the internet, you'll find a lot of good stuff that'll make it easy. And that's what we want to do on a pen test, right? We want something that's quick, easy, it's automated, we can execute the attack as efficiently as possible. And also it blows the customer's mind when you do something like that. If you set something up in 30 seconds and start owning their devices, they get pretty, they get like a fire under their butt to actually take a look and see what's going on. So wireless man in the middle, attack can be performed almost anywhere, right? If you have that tool set, you can do it anywhere. You can do it at coffee shops, you can do it at hotels, but not the Hyatt, of course. Airports, train stations, subways. We have a BART train in San Francisco Bay Area that has wireless on it now. I think buses have wireless on it now. I mean, you can do it. I wouldn't recommend it for sure, but I mean, you can do it on an airplane. I mean, if you have the tools, you can pretty much do it anywhere you want to. And it's great for catching active sync connections. So basically, you set up your fake AP, and if people connect to you with their iPhone or their Android, the first thing that starts flooding is their active sync communication to their corporate email. And so that's a good way to get a set of creds when you're targeting somebody. So proper execution of the attack. This is just really my methodology. I don't know if it's proper or not, but hence the quotes. But basically, what you want to do, and again, this is super simple. So basically, you want to assess the current wireless network that's in place. You want to pay attention to the ESSIDs, BSSIDs, the channels, who's associated, who's not associated. So I usually fire up something like AeroDump. I let it run for 5 minutes. I take a look and see what's going on there. I see who's trying to connect, what they're trying to connect to. If I'm targeting a corporation specifically, I'm looking at the ESSIDs, the BSSIDs, so that I can mimic that as closely as possible. So basically, you connect your system to an internet connection using either the wireless network itself, if you're doing a pen test, or you use your MiFi, or you tether your phone, whatever. You initiate your fake AP, mimicking the network you're targeting. You want to use the same BSSID, the same channel. If you can roll your MAC to the same ESSID, if that works, you might want to do that as well, because some computers will trigger on that instead of the BSSID. And then you wait for connections, right? So there's a few things that can happen. If someone's already connected to a network, most likely they're not going to connect to you. So what can you do to hasten that connection? I usually throw up MDK3 with every wireless that I do. I want to get those 4-way handshakes, I want to get those credentials, I want to get them connecting to me so that I can further my attack against them. And the cool thing is like, if you're at an airport or a bus station or whatever, most users expect the free wireless to be slow. So a lot of questions I get is, well, when they connect to you and you're bridging through your wireless and this and that, isn't it slower than usual? Yeah, it is, but if you're in an airport and you're just some average user, you're going to expect that. It's not going to be different to you. For us, we would probably recognize, hey, something's going on, why is it so slow? But for most users, they have no idea, it's just normal. All right, so I am going to do a couple demos here. I'm going to do wireless man in the middle. I'm going to do a static fake AP demo with EasyCreds. It's the new version. It's still buggy, I'm still working on it. And then I'm going to do something that I coded in new, which is the free radius 8021X with a soft AP with EasyCreds. And special thanks, of course, to Josh Wright and Brad. I can't pronounce your last name, Brad, but I use their blogs to kind of get it going. Now the thing with the free radius soft AP attack, I've been told it only works on the Atheros chipset. I've also been told that the new MAD Wi-Fi drivers will let it work on raw link. I have not had it work on anything but an Atheros chipset. So I spent $20 on a TP-Link on Amazon. It's the TLWN822N. I mean, it's super cheap, and it's got the Atheros chipset in it, and it works perfectly on this. So this is going to be the fake AP itself, and then I'm gonna try to throw the bullshit flag. I've heard that people say that you can't do wireless through two wireless devices, where one wireless is connected to a MiFi or whatever, and then the other one's your fake AP. So if the demo gods are smiling on me, I'll be able to throw the bullshit flag and show you that you can do that. So quickly, this is a new version of EasyCreds. Like I said, I haven't released it yet. I'm still working on it. I got tied up in a different project called SMB Exec. How many people have heard of SMB Exec? You know that you can grab hashes off a domain controller, off of a system without ever popping a shell, all through standard window commands. So it's been tested on Windows Server 2012 and it worked like a champ. So I don't see Microsoft fixing anything anytime soon, and it should not trigger any type of alert. So, so right here we've got our different set here. There are some prerequisites to setting up a wireless. So let me just show you guys that real quick. You of course have to have the DHCP3 server. Of course you guys know to edit your editor.conf file. I don't know if I need to go through that. And then you've got to add your tunnel to the interface here. So that's number 5. I'm just going to show you guys real quick. And this basically just says, you know, where should the DHCP server serve up its IP addresses? And in this case, it's AT0 is the interface. It also lets you update AirCrack and SSL strip. I do have how-to videos in this one. If you check out YouTube at the Bravo Hacks channel, there are some demos on how to do it, which is with the older version, but it still works basically the same. So we were talking about the different fake AP attacks. Again, we've got static, evil twin, Metasploit, the free radius, which I'll demo as well, and the DOS AP options. So the cool thing about the DOS AP options is, excuse me, you can throw it up there and basically say, I have no idea what BSSID I want to DOS. Or what I want to set up, and it'll run error dump for you for 5 minutes. It'll create a list of all the BSSIDs that it found. You basically just specify what BSSID you want to DOS, the one that you're going after, and it'll fire up MDK3. It'll put all those ESSIDs and MAC addresses in a blacklist for you and start DOSing those constantly in hopes that, again, they connect to the wireless network that you've set up. So it's pretty, you gotta be careful. I've set it up so you can tack a single or multiple APs. You can do a last man standing, which just DOSes everything that it finds. So use with caution, of course, or as Ronan would say, red button. So let me go ahead and see if I can. So I'm just going to go ahead and, if I can, okay, good. 0, sorry, let me take a look here and see which one that is. Okay, so that's going through the Alpha card, which is the raw link chipset. And then I am going to connect to, turn it on, sorry. Connect to my MiFi. Oh, of course. So you guys can all see my password here. You like that? Alright, so let's see. Probably should have done that last night. Okay, so now I'm connected here through the wireless card. to the internet, hopefully. So here's how quick and easy it is to, I'm going to start this over, to set up a fake AP. Select 3. I'm going to do a static attack. I'm not going to include sidejacking. You can. It uses hamster and ferret to do the sidejacking. In this version, how many people have used Easy Creds before? So it pops all those nasty X terms, right? So this version, I've set something in the code where you can unset. It looks for Xorg, and if it doesn't find it or X Windows running, it'll automatically launch everything in screen. I've also set it so you can just uncomment a line, and it'll automatically unset that variable, so you can run everything in screen if you want. It'll still pop Xterm windows. I just tried to clean it up. The sidejacking's automatically going to happen in screen in the background. It'll still log everything for you. But in this case, I'm going to say no. It gives me a nice list of network interfaces and which one's connected to the internet, and that's going to be WLAN 1. And okay, and my wireless interface name is WLAN 0. What do I want to call it? I'll call it Easy Creds. Broadcast on channel 6. All right, now it's automatically places in monitor mode for you. You basically tell it on 0. This is where the tunnel interface where we talked about the DHCP server is going to be serving up the IP addresses. I don't have a DHCP comp file, so I'm just going to hit enter. All you do is you give it your range. And of course, good old Google for the DNS. And there it launches Airbase for you. It starts the access point. And it's happening over here. You can see it flashing. It configures all the IP tables for you. It launches tails. So that's, you can see that your DHCP server started up. You'll see it assigning oh, today's someone's birthday. Ettercaf is evil malware today. It's Naga's birthday. Everybody happy birthday, Naga. So it also does that on Lore's birthday. So you can see here it started up. It's poisoning AT0. So let me go ahead and does anybody want to connect their phone to Easy Creds? Anybody with an active sync connection by chance? No, nobody.
Yeah, I will.
All right, I will too. We'll do it together as a team. If I can figure out this new ROM, I will do it. All right, turn my Wi-Fi on. All right. Easy Creds, you'll notice that it's an open network. Connect to it. I'm getting an IP address. So you can see here, I'm getting the IP addresses are getting assigned. And let me go ahead and let's see how fast this goes. Geez, I need to check my email. Oh, yeah.
Let's get connected.
Are you connected? Is anybody else connected to the network?
I am.
You do realize you have a lot of work to do Monday now, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna do it probably as soon as I walk out here. Come on, demo gods. See, there's another person that just connected. I might be a liar here. Can somebody try to browse out to like Yahoo or something and tell me if they actually?
I'm currently trying now.
So they told me they didn't have any. So they told me they didn't have any active defenses. So this technically should work, but it's not, of course. All right, this is one of those situations where I just swear to you that it works, and it's good. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, it's really easy to set up. Wired connection does definitely work better.
Did it tell you what traffic, like, that you should do Google?
No, yeah, there we go. Someone's connected. So someone's going. You can see here, someone's browsing that page. It's
Looking for pizza.
super slow. For some reason, my active sync's not working, but when I showed the customer, it worked like a champ. All right, well, we'll call that good. Sorry, guys. But I swear it does work. I mean, I've done it a million times with 2 wireless access points.
My hero.
So basically, yeah, thanks. So basically, what you've got here, like I said, it fires up your Airbase to do your fake AP, sets up your DHCP server. It's got SSL strip, of course, that'll run. Header cap, of course, that will run. The URL snarf is really, when you're really on a fast network that you can see a lot of traffic, that's really, for me, it's that I know that the poisoning is working and that there's a lot of traffic going across that wire and I know I'm in a good spot or on a good system. But it's also good for looking back through. It does log all this stuff for you, so you can look back through. If you were on an internal and you wanted to see, what was their intranet page or what was something, you can see where everybody's visiting or where the credentials are going, and then of course you can go out directly after those systems. So I apologize for the demo not quite working the way I thought it would.
Did it tell you that you just logged off? Did you see that action?
I'm sorry?
So I can't read the script that far away. I just wonder if it tells you as we logged on and logged off and what we went to.
It does not tell me if someone's logged in and logged off. I believe at some point it'll drop the DHCP connections. That's a good thing. Maybe I'll look into that. So that's, that's how quick and easy it is to set up a wireless access point. Yes.
So let's say you do know, let's say the company using WPA or WEP, hopefully not, but if you do know the password, can you set up your fake AP to use that?
You can. In Airbase, I believe you can set all that stuff. As far as EasyCreds goes, I didn't include any of those switches. It's just straight up open network.
Okay.
And that could be another reason why maybe they don't connect to you or whatever. But yeah, those switches do exist. This whole thing is written in Bash, so it should be fairly easy for you guys to go in and change whatever you want. Or like I was saying when I gave you my email address, if you guys think there's something that would be dope, let me know. I'd be more than happy to throw it in there. So let's see if I can't actually get this other one working better. I'm going to go ahead and do another poisoning attack. This is fairly new. Oops, sorry. Let's hope it works. It's a free radius attack. Like I said, Josh Wright and had set this up. Normally I carry around like a Buffalo AP and get it all set up. And then once we found out we could do it over a soft AP, we went ahead and implemented that, and it works fairly well. And that's another reason why I use the TP-Link. It's got the 3 dBi antennas on it, so you get a pretty good range out of it. So right here it's asking you for the shared secret for the radio server. It builds the comp file on the fly for you, so you can put in there whatever you want. I'm going to go with WLAN 0. What SSID? I'll do EC this time. I want to do the attack on channel 11. Fires up your free radius server. You can see my debugging code in here. I'm still working on stuff. So now it's set up an 802.1x network. If someone wants to try to connect to that and just put in some fake credentials, if it works for you, I'll try it too. With this attack, I haven't coded in the backend yet, where it actually will forward you out to the internet and do that. A lot of times during a pen test, this is more of a drive-by for us, or we're sitting in a parking lot. We want to get those credentials from these users so that we can actually go do a physical assessment, get into the building, and use them once we get inside. So there we go. Okay, so you see in the credentials, you see Accubon, you saw Foo. So basically what you've got now is you've got, this is basically just a tail of the radius log, host APD running. Currently, I asked Mr. X, Airbase doesn't do 802.1x yet. I don't know if that's something he has planned for the future, but you can see those are all coming in. So this one's working much better. So let me go ahead and quit that before it all blows up in my face. So you see it stops everything. And then you'd go to data review, and you want to, number 4 is parse your free radius attack file for credentials. So your path, I think it's in.
Isn't it in the Easy Crits 2012?
Yeah, that's a 0953, and it's 1030. So.
Wasn't that when you launched the script?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. Well, did I kill it? No? All right. So we'll try that one and we'll take a look if it's in there.
And there's free radius.
Yeah, okay, free radius creds.dump, so it dumps PCAP file for you. And then what I also do is I parse out everything in that free radius text. So we're gonna pick that one. Please enter the path to the word list. And of course we've got our special labs word list there. So it'll go through, this is something too that I need to move it out from the main window and maybe process it in the background. But right now it's using a sleep to chug through and break the MS chat. There we go, foobar. It'll go through that entire list of everybody who logged in. It'll crack it for you. It'll put it into a file for you. So, like I said, this is mostly when companies have something set up where they're actually logging into the wireless network with their actual corporate credentials. And then, of course, there's a whole lot of different implementations, right? If they have like ETLS with client-side, server-side certificates and those types of things, I believe like these types of attacks wouldn't work. Or if they're configured to go to a specific radius server within the configuration. Those are things when you're helping them harden what they've got. Those are the things that you look for. So is there really no password to AccuBot?
It's labs.
It just couldn't crack it.
Okay. That's funny that I have a labs word list and labs is not in there.
Add it right now.
I know, I gotta add it. All right. Hit Control C, it'll get you out. It tries to clean stuff up. You can see it's, like I said, I've still got some work to do on this edition. But that's how quick and easy it is to set up a fake AP and the 802.1x stuff. You can do the same thing with the Evil Twin. The only difference is it doesn't ask you for your broadcast ID, of course. It's just going to respond to everyone. So I call this the poor man's pineapple, basically, right? The pineapple, of course, has a lot more cooler stuff that can be done, but $20 at Amazon and the script on the internet, and you can pretty much, execute these types of attacks. And we do tend to use these fairly often for our wireless assessments. So pitfalls of the attack. There's defenses, of course, against rogue access points. I think airtight, all types of different defenses that'll knock you off. I know that I didn't get whitelisted, but I figured it was okay to do the attack here. And just because you throw up a fake AP does not mean people are going to connect to you. Like we talked about earlier, if they're already connected to a network, there's no point in that computer trying to find another network to connect to. And that's where the MDK3 and DOSing them off comes into play. And then if you don't have proper authorization, you get caught, you're going to jail, or at least criminal proceedings, right? We did look up what the laws were for even connecting to an open wireless network. Most states said it, but I think it's a felony for using even an open network and connecting to it and using it. So, yeah, tread lightly. I don't look good in an orange jumpsuit. I look good in pink, but not in orange. So maybe I'll try in Arizona. Art poisoning, right? By far the most common form of man-in-the-middle attacks. It has a horrible name in the industry. And the reason why is because some douchebag goes out on a pen test and decides they're going to poison the entire broadcast domain. Right. If it's a /16, if it's a /21, if it's /24, they don't care. They're going to poison everything. And I'm going to talk about why that's really bad and what to look for before you do it. And there's actually two different flavors. And you see this within Kane, and you can actually set it manually within EtherCap. You do a full poison where you're poisoning both the victim and the switch, or a one-way poison where you're poisoning only the victim itself, so the ARP cache does not get updated on the actual switch. So ARP poisoning, the ARP protocol has intrinsic insecurity. It was just built insecure. In order to reduce the traffic on the wire, on the cable, it basically inserts an entry in the ARP cache, even if it wasn't requested. So in other words, every single ARP reply that goes out on the wire will be inserted into an ARP table, automatically. That's just how it works. We take advantage of this feature by sending fake ARP replies to the two hosts we will sniff. Most cases, it's going to be a switch and another system. In reply, we tell them that the MAC address of the second host is the one that's hard-coded on ours. So basically, we're basically telling them this IP address has this MAC address, and it's our MAC address instead. This host will now send the packets. It should go through the first host to us because it carries our MAC address at that point. So that's how it's figuring out how to route it. Same process can be done for the first host in a reverse manner, basically the switch itself. So we have a perfect man-in-the-middle connection between the two hosts, and we're receiving all packets that are flowing through that line of communication. And the only method to discover this, and Ryan talked about this too, is while a man-in-the-middle attack is going, is to watch the ARP cache. I know there's ARP watches out there, I think, that'll do it, and there's definitely defenses, and I'll talk about dynamic ARP inspection, DHCP snooping, in a future slide. But basically, the ARP cache, while it's going, is really the only way of knowing if your machine's being poisoned at the time. And you would recognize it by seeing, a list of 10 machines all with the same MAC address. So you have all these IP addresses now have the same MAC address. So, of course, most common tools, EtherCAT, of course, again, I'm biased. Kane, ARP spoof, there's lots of other scripts, easy creds, hint, of course. So again, proper execution. So now I'll get on my soapbox here. So man in the middle is a targeted attack. Anybody who tells you that it's not a targeted attack, they're smoking crack. What you want to do is you want to find the system that's doing the most work, doing the most communications, logging into things. You want to identify that system the best you can before you start your attack. Because I would rather poison one system and get all the creds out of it than poison 10 or 20 and just sit there and wait, or take something down. So what I do is I review the network settings, I find my gateway IP address, of course, when I get in there, find my broadcast domain. A lot of times it's a /24. There are situations where it's larger than that, which is bad, but it's there. I fire up Wireshark and I look for traffic, specifically HSRP. Is anybody familiar with HSRP, Cisco's HSRP? Okay, what does it stand for? Is anybody?
Hot swap redundancy protocol.
Right. It's the hot standby routing protocol. So basically what it does is you have your two switches, right? It's for failover. So you have your two switches and you have physical NICs, and most of the time it's .2 and .3, and they create a virtual NIC, which is usually .1, which represents the gateway. So what happens is if you decide you're going to poison the entire broadcast domain, you poison both physical NICs, which then destroys the virtual NIC. So if you're on a broadcast domain of a /16 and you do this, you basically DOS that entire broadcast domain. And that was really one of the reasons why EasyCreds was written. I was working for a company, and I got an IM one morning that someone from our team decided to use EtherCAT. And I always say I don't think he used it before, but that might not be a true statement. But he was basically like, hey, I see all this traffic coming to my computer, but it's not going anywhere. And customer says they can't do anything. And I'm like, well, did you, set your comp file? Did you do the IP forwarding? Did you do all this stuff? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, well, did you poison the entire broadcast domain? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, well, there you go. So DOS, of course, equals unhappy client. So scan the broadcast domain with Nmap for live hosts. Get some idea of what's on the wire before you do it. If you find an Exchange server and somewhere that you're sitting, that's really the machine you want to go after, right? That's where the creds are going to be going through. Identify hosts to poison. Break them up in 5 to 10 host lists. Don't poison too many. Again, your VM is not a switch. It's a VM. and it has all the bad stuff that goes along with the extra wrapping of the network packets and those types of things. These things don't operate at ring 0, or they don't operate, at the kernel level. So there's some latency built into the tool, even though it's fast for us. As far as the systems are concerned, if you're poisoning 20 and they're all using RDP and Citrix and those types of things, remember, like EtherCap and that was written long before a lot of those protocols were really highly leveraged and used. Now they're like everyday things. So if you're poisoning 15 hosts that are all running Citrix and RDP, a lot of times your VM's not going to be able to handle that traffic. And it's super process intensive. So you want to make sure that unless you're rocking like a really nice system that's got 16 gig of RAM and all the latest bells and whistles, you don't want to do more than 5 or 10 at a time. Like we talked about, don't poison the physical gateway NICs and the virtual NIC itself. It's really easy to find. You look at the MAC addresses in Wireshark and you go, 1, 2, and 3 all have this, and they're slightly different in the end, right? So it's probably a pretty good idea if you also see HSRP that those are ones that you don't want to poison during that session. Let the session run for 15 to 30 minutes and then move on to the next set of systems. I rarely wait that long, to be honest with you, unless I'm in a really good place where I'm seeing that URL snarf and easy credits flying by and I'm seeing some good stuff. I'll let it hang out for that long. But a lot of times you fire it up, you look at it, you see what kind of traffic's going through there, and you'll know within 2 or 3 minutes if it's somewhere that you should hang out and wait. Again, it's fishing, it's not catching. So you get to decide how long you want to wait at that point. Keep an eye on the statistics for drop packets, very important. In Kane, it's down in the lower right-hand corner. In EtherCap, you just open up the window and you hit S, it'll bring up your statistics and it'll let you know. It should be around like 5%, right? There's gonna be some packet loss. Anything above like 8 or 10, users are actually gonna see that there's an issue and it's gonna ring some bells. And don't walk away from a poisoning session. They can go very bad very quickly. And if your customer's looking for you and you're outside, like me, outside smoking or talking about how you're poisoning the network and you're going to destroy this network, it's not going to look good from a customer standpoint. So I'm going to do really quickly, I hope, our poisoning demo with easy credits. Again, I'm doing it through my VM, so it should work, but you guys should be able to at least get the idea of what's going on here. Let's see what my IP is. Okay. So again, back to the main menu, I'm going to just do poisoning attacks. You can create a victim host list from here, and it basically puts it in the proper EtherCap format. So when you create a list and give it to EtherCap and you specify that you're giving it a list, you have to have the IP address, a space, the MAC address, a space, and a dash for standard in. Most people just want to put the IP addresses in there and then they wonder why EtherCap's not taking the list. So I wrote this so it uses Nmap, it'll go out and it'll scan it and it'll put all that stuff in the proper order for you and it'll build a list. So let's see if we can't do that. So my target network. So there we go. And basically it creates it, this version will create it in temp victims. 3.6, which is in the backtrack repos, it'll put it in the folder that it created for you. And then, of course, that big red thing, remember to remove any IPs that should not be poisoned. Read that as look for HSRP and remove the physical NICs. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and edit this right now. I believe the gateway is 2. Let me make sure. All right, good. So now I have my victim list built. So I'm going to go ahead and go into standard art poisoning. And again, that's where that list, again, parse that out into 4, 5, or 10, whatever you feel comfortable doing. I'm going to go ahead and I believe my stuff is bridged. Yeah, okay, good. So I'm going to specify UTH-0. Hopefully that'll go out through the MiFi. That's the interface that's connected to the network or the internet. Yes, I have a populated victim file. It automatically has the path there. My gateway is 192.168.63.2. Do you want to include a sidejacking attack? Again, this would launch Hamster and Ferret for you in the background for replaying sessions. So we got to do Naga's birthday again. So basically it launches EtherCap, it launches SSL strip, it launches URL snarf, it launches dsniff. Now a lot of people ask me, why do you use dsniff? I'm just a belt and suspenders type of guy. I mean, most of the time you're going to catch all that stuff anyway, but you might as well run it. So let me see if I can't go over here to the Windows system and generate some traffic. Please work. Yeah, it's not going to work. Sorry. That's kind of important. Alright, looks like I'm connected. Connecting. Okay. Let's try this again. Yay! All right, so you can see I went out there. Here's the traffic from that. It's currently going, so let's go ahead and see if we can't go to Gmail. Okay. This worked awesome at the hotel last night, just in case anybody was wondering. Sorry. I did not sacrifice anything to the demo gods this morning. I apologize. What's that?
Yeah, it was missing the fresh virgins.
Let's switch it. I'm sorry, guys. So basically what it should do is you would start seeing a ton of traffic coming through this area here, and then with the EtherCap you would see different credentials that would come up. Now the important thing to note about this as well is not all credentials are going to show up in that EtherCap window. That doesn't mean they're not being caught. SSL strip will catch some stuff sometimes as well. And what I've done is I've also built in a parser for SSL strip that you can, it's got just a simple definitions file, And what I do is I just take something like burp and I query I query a web page and I see what the post command is, and then I look for specific things in there to trigger that I can run a query against, and it'll look for those and it'll pull those out. So if it's Twitter, it's looking for a certain thing for username, certain thing for password, and then maybe one other determining factor. And at that point, what it'll do is it'll pull that out for you, so you don't have to go through all the SSL strip logs. I've got I'm all done. 1 minute left. So, all right, let me just hop to the end here. There's other man-in-the-middle attacks you guys should look into. DHCP poisoning's a good one. You can do that with an EtherCap. There's some caveats there. Be careful, because when you stop the attack, all the victims will still be convinced that your system's the gateway until it expires and you've set the lease on it. So it could be 24 hours before they realize that that system's not up and not poisoning them anymore. NBNS spoofing is another good one. Magoo Security, NBNSspoof.py was the original tool. Tim Medine did a blog on it. Check it out. He can do a way better job explaining it than me. And of course, there's a Metasploit module for it, and I love me some Metasploit. So it's like 100% of my pen tests use Metasploit of some kind. So EtherCap news real quick. 075 has been released. At least that's what Emilio told me. It's on GitHub now, so feel free to take a look. It's got the SSL strip plugin built into it. IPv6, a guy called SickMind had actually done all the work and did IPv6. And we actually submitted it to LibNet folks, and they actually updated it. So it's got a new version of LibNet that's required. You can load multiple filters. And then shout out to Ryan Lynn and Mike Ryan. Holy shit, embedded Lua, like that was sick. That's exactly where we really wanted to go with EtherCap. We just don't have the time or resources, but we really wanted EtherCap to be like a malicious router at its core, and then have you guys in the community be able to write one-off things like they did the other night during their talk. We were talking Python and other things, but Lua is dope. So questions, I know we don't have any time, but ask me, I may know. If not, there's always the Googles. I apologize for the demos. Everything was awesome at 2:30 in the morning. But feel free to hit me up, check out the videos, give it a try. Thank you all for coming.
What's up, man? Because it's
Here, man. Stop the cameras.
Yeah, Jello Biafra. Yeah.